what happened New Year's Eve 20 years ago at this time. Very, very interesting. It was about to be Y2K. So remind me to do a vlog on what exactly I was doing New Year's Eve 20 years ago.
Remember when I said we should talk about New Year's Eve 1999? We're going to talk about that now. Let me set the stage for you. The 90s were an interesting time for technology. We didn't have the smartphones that we have today. We had flip phones, and pay phones were still a thing. And in some cases, people still carried pagers. When it comes to media, we were listening to music on CDs, and we were watching movies on some of the earliest DVDs, but mainly on VHS cassettes still. Computers were bigger and bulky. The monitors, the flat screen monitor that you're probably watching this on, not existent. Huge, bulky monitors. The computers themselves had drives. There were CD drives, disk drives that you'd put media into. USBs were developed around the mid-90s, and they were becoming popular, but they weren't there yet. The internet was entirely different back in the 90s, late 90s too. We started to see the first appearance of Napster music sharing services before it got into all of its legal trouble. People uploading more and more things onto the internet, videos and clips, but we didn't have YouTube yet. In fact, in the early 90s through the late 90s, it was pre-YouTube, pre-Facebook, and if you know what this is, it was even pre-MySpace. So social media wasn't really a thing, and if I was to kind of give you a feel for what social media was in the late 90s, we're talking instant messenger services run by America Online. Tell you what, probably the best way that I can explain this to you is, let me just show you a picture of my dorm room from 1999. This really shows you what we were working with. Going back to 1999, New Year's Eve, the story here starts probably a few years before 1999. A lot of computer programmers were anticipating there were going to be bugs and problems with technology because the codes that they've been programming with since the 80s, they were set to have the date listed as 2 digits, just the last 2 digits of the year, which makes sense to save memory and space. But the problem here is we were at 99. The fear was that once you reach 99, the computers wouldn't know what to do with the rollover into 2000, and that would cause all sorts of problems with online systems, possibly causing them to shut down. In the least case scenario, it would shut down some things. In the worst case scenario, people were predicting Armageddon-like conditions. And we actually had people prepping for Y2K, shutdown of all technology, thinking we were going to go into the dark ages. People feared that planes' navigation systems would immediately shut down, sending planes crashing into the ground. People were even concerned that fail-safes at nuclear power plants would shut down and cause huge problems. Check out this picture. That's the US government saying they have a concern about Y2K. There were mixed reviews in the media. People weren't really sure. I think that was the consensus. People weren't sure what was going to happen. So I decided to proceed as normal and go to a New Year's Eve party and just go with my regular New Year's Eve routine. So for New Year's Eve 1999, I was invited to a friend of a friend's house, and there were about 25 of us. Most of the people were hanging around having casual conversation and watching TV. We had the TV tuned into what was going on in New York City because people wanted to watch the ball drop at midnight. Time progressed and we were having a great time, and then all of a sudden 11:30 rolls around and I get into a discussion with my buddy Oscar about, wow, what if this Y2K thing is legit? What if things do start to go wrong and we do have apocalyptic type conditions and we go back into the dark ages? And so 20 minutes of conversation goes by and we finally realize it's 10 minutes to midnight. And we have this idea. Rather than sitting inside watching everything happen on the television,
we're going to go outside and sit on the tailgate of my truck, because if the world is going to come crashing down and we're going to go into an apocalypse, we want a front row seat for this, because we love to know what's coming at us. And we're just watching, like kids at a movie theater, the sky. We're waiting to see lights, bombs, explosions, aliens, UFOs, power outages, God knows what else. We're waiting to see what is going to happen. Sitting and waiting, wondering, is Y2K going to be as big of a catastrophe as everyone has forecasted? We hear the noises coming from inside all of a sudden, the countdown. 10, 9, 8. Oscar and I are looking up to the sky. We're like, holy crap. Is this going to happen? What is going to happen? 4, 3, 2. No idea what's coming at us. Looking on with eagerness. Looking on with a little bit of fear because we don't know what's going to go down. 1. Happy New Year rings out from the house that we were at.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
Anticlimactically, nothing happened. And I'm actually thankful nothing happened, because this was the weirdest New Year's Eve I had ever had and probably will ever have, because this uncertainty of things going wrong was just completely different from any other type of New Year's Eve that I've ever been through. It's bittersweet. You wanted to see something interesting happen, but I'm happy that nothing bad happened. Now, I know there's people of all different ages watching this, but if you were around in 1999, leave in the comments, what were you doing and were you genuinely scared of Y2K?